Phones. Isn't that what everybody thinks of when you think technology? For most of us and those who have a phone, they do amazing things. Things that weren't even possible 20 years ago. Like texting, calling anywhere, shopping, GPS, organizing ourselves, fun, sharing our thoughts. Check this out. From the time I open this, it shows and counts every tweet that is sent worldwide. Most of these tweets are done using phones. We're about 10 seconds in and over 10,000 tweets. It's amazing what phones have allowed us to do and accomplish. But what about texting and driving? What about eye strain from looking at their bright screen too much? What about cyberbullying? What about dependence? Maybe we're not as intelligent as we used to be because we can just look things up. With every technology, including the phone, that I share, there will be benefits and impact, as well as impacts that are negative. And that's key to seeing both sides of every story. How about paper? For most of us, paper is a very simple, everyday thing. We have a lot of it. Quite a bit of it gets balled up and thrown into the garbage. But when people first discovered how to produce flat sheets of paper by pounding wood fibers, things changed drastically in history and in their lives. Before computers and the internet, all knowledge and information was stored in things that looked like this. Weird, right? But now, as we know, paper has all kinds of uses. Books are just one. Nowadays, that holds a lot of information, and it's pretty powerful. But before credit and debit cards were more and more common and typical to have, this paper was pretty important, because without it, a person wouldn't eat or afford a home or afford transportation or afford clothing. This technology really changed the game. It's just simple paper. We humans have given it value, but it's just paper. That's all it is. Is there a negative to paper? How about before money or before paper that we gave value to? I wonder if people were more equal. Because nowadays we see something like this, unfortunately, where some people have a lot of it and some people have very little or none. And this technology of paper, this money, has only added to that situation. Transportation is the third and final technology I'm going to share for modern times. Transportation has been a great technology for people. Just think, fruits and nuts that don't grow here or anywhere close to here are in our grocery stores. Easy to get, readily available. That's only possible because of trains, vehicles like semi-trucks, maybe even planes. People can move too. And because of transportation, people are in contact with others whom they would have never met or seen or even known of before. And when people travel and people spread, so do their ideas and so do their beliefs. And that's how we can see culture spreading and people becoming more worldly and aware of differences and other things out in the world and ways of living. Now, obviously, with things like this, or this, it has raised the dangers of car accidents, right? Of course. Big vehicles traveling at high speeds is dangerous if they go off the road or if they hit each other. Every technology has an impact. most have a good and a bad. Now, as you know, technology is anything that helps you perform a task. And there were a lot of tasks to be done and accomplished even in the Paleolithic times. Very early humans needed to do things. Most of their doing was for survival. The first technology I will include is stones. Things like this. Of course, stones could be used for all kinds of purposes during the Stone Age, like weapons. You could hit an animal, you could cut an animal. Things that were a little bit sharper could possibly be an arrowhead, or it could scrape the flesh off the inside of a hide of an animal and be turned into a blanket or a coat. Very versatile tool. But my favorite is this one right here. I like to include and explain what downside of this technology there is because it's not as obvious. But as you recall, perhaps, taking two stones, a rounded one and a flattened one, and you grind up some grain to create a flour and turn that into bread. As you do that, chips or little flakes, small pieces of the rocks, also break off and get mixed into the flour. As a person eats that and they chew that, their teeth are deteriorating slowly. Not as obvious. Now clearly, without stones, people during the Paleolithic age wouldn't have survived. But it's also important and it's good to know both sides. There's a negative impact to this technology as well. My second Paleolithic technology will be fire. And just for fun, this will be on the screen. But fire allowed humans, first of all, to even become what we are today, or at least get on the path to who we are and what we are today, by giving us that small edge over other species. We could create fire. Fire's always existed. But when we figured out how to make it by striking stones together, well, there again, this technology, we were able to defend ourselves and keep ourselves warm and cook our meat and boil our water that disinfected it, even though they didn't know that at the time. And it made them healthier and stronger, and it better equipped them to survive. When other species still, even now, don't know how to make fire on purpose. But we do, and it's because during the Paleolithic age, our ancestors figured it out. Pretty amazing technology. The third Paleolithic technology I will explain and include in my mastery is ochre. Anybody know what that is? Ochre looks like this. It's created by grinding up a hard substance into a powder, and these ochres have vibrant, really nice colors. And by doing that and then maybe sprinkling in or mixing in some animal fat or even just water, it creates a paste or a paint that allowed Paleolithic people to do things like this. Cave paint. Give us a glimpse into their world and their life and maybe their beliefs by cave painting. And you see here a picture of a very crudely painted person with a very detailed painted bison. Maybe it gives us a glimpse into what they believed was important in the world and humans' role in the world, when nowadays I think we see ourselves like this. Top dog. We pollute, we cut down trees, we change the course of rivers, we do whatever we want. But during the Paleolithic age, I believe humans saw themselves as more equals with nature instead of owning or controlling it. And this technology has had a huge impact. For us, it's great because we can see their cave paintings and interpret their life. But for them, it perhaps was a way to honor animals they killed, or maybe it was for good luck. On their next hunt, they would paint a picture of a scene that they wanted to happen. Or maybe this technology was just for entertainment. They did it like a lot of us might draw or color to pass the time and entertain ourselves, to get through a tough day. Regardless, technology, both then and now, shapes the way people live. All technologies have goods and they have bads. It's good and it's important to know both sides. But I will make a claim at the very end of this project, my mastery, that the technology Paleolithic people used was much more essential to survival than ours today. Whether it's cars or money or paper or devices. I'm filming on one right now, you're watching one on right now. It makes an already good life better. But fire and stone, it's pretty important to Paleolithic people staying alive. Thanks for watching.